Hello, hello, my friends. Another dedicated candle review for you today. We're going to be talking about HOMEWORX Candied Sorbet. Full disclosure, this candle was sent to me in PR. I do always like to be upfront about that when I do a review, but you guys know if you've been with me any length of time, I always strive to give you guys my honest thoughts. I let you know whether or not a candle is for me when it comes to fragrance, and I also let you guys know how the candle is performing in my home. If you are unfamiliar with my dedicated reviews, I would just encourage you to just take the time really quickly to check in that description box down below. Down there, I also include the information about my home layout, the square footage, environmental factors, age of my home, all of the things that could impact where I'm coming from when I give a ranking of, this is how well the candle is throwing for me. And yeah, I think that those things are sometimes really important to familiarize yourself with when people are doing reviews, because that may help you out, especially if we have very different styles of homes, or maybe we have similar styles that can help you out. So let's go ahead and talk about this 4-wick candle. This is one of their, what I would call, quote unquote, standard 4-wick 18-ounce vessels. We have the beautiful photographic wraparound label going on. It's very bright, very vibrant. I love the packaging on this. This looks like a delicious treat to indulge on a nice hot day. Believe it or not, you guys, here in Arizona, we are already starting to come into what a lot of other people around the country would consider to be summer weather. We currently are having temperatures, I would say, anywhere between the mid 80s. This last week, we actually had some in the mid to upper 90s. In fact, I think Phoenix reached over 100 degrees this week. Where I live didn't quite get to that temperature. I live about an hour and a half outside of Phoenix, but yeah, we're a little bit higher terrain, so we don't get as hot in the old concrete jungle. But yeah, it still gets pretty toasty over here. So this candied sorbet definitely looks like a nice refreshing treat for me. Fragrance notes on this specific candle. The ones listed on the bottom of the candle are vanilla sorbet, sugared sweet berries, cotton candied swirls, and creamy sandalwood. I did go onto the Slatkin & Co website because for a while there were some candles that they weren't giving more descriptive fragrance notes for, but I wanted to check to see if this one had, more specific fragrance notes listed, and it did. So I am going to share those with you. They are top notes of sugared red berries, mid notes of freesia and rose, base note of musk, cotton candy, vanilla, and sandalwood. This specific candle that I am reviewing has a pour date of November 19th, 2024. All right, you guys. So when I got this candle in, this is a new fragrance for HOMEWORX, and like I said, it was sent to me in PR, so I was pretty excited to get my hands on this because candied sorbet, that sounds like a great, refreshing treat. Like I said, it sounds like it would be an not ice cream, because sorbet is not ice cream. I am aware of that. I know that sorbet is oftentimes used in culinary experiences to kind of cleanse your palate between courses. If you've ever gone to like a really high-end restaurant and it's been multiple courses, oftentimes they will bring out sorbet to kind of cleanse your palate between that. So I do know that there's not really like a too much of a creaminess aspect to it. It's not ice cream, but it's more of like a palate cleansing. It kind of, it gets you ready for the next course. Slightly sweet, but not too sweet. So this really intrigued me again because of the packaging, because of this sounds like it would be a great summertime fragrance. Here's the thing, you guys. I think I was anticipating this to smell a little bit more cotton candy like, because they have like those notes of cotton candy swirls. They even have cotton candy accord listed in the base notes. And while there are some sweet elements to this candle, it is definitely a sweet fragrance. And that was made very clear to me yesterday during one of the burns, and I will talk about that in a few minutes. I, like my friend Connor from Connor Loves Candles, picked up on a floral note, which kind of threw me for a little bit of a loop. So, of course, when I did that deep dive into looking at the more detailed fragrance notes, I was like, yeah, that's what I'm smelling. That my nose, you guys know if you've been here for a little while, I'm like, not sure if I like that. The mid notes of freesia and rose. So here's the thing, you guys. My nose definitely detects the top notes of a berry note. I'm going to say it's raspberry. That's what my nose is detecting. To me, it smells like sugared raspberries. Not necessarily the raspberry that, well, maybe it is, but I think it's because it's mixed with these floral notes that it's coming across a little bit different. It might be at the same raspberry note that they're using in the whipped raspberry vanilla, which I'm just going to tell you, of the 3 candles that they sent to me in PR, that one was the winner in terms of just the fragrance overall. I really, really liked that fragrance profile. Not enough for me to repurchase, but I did enjoy it. This one, I'm getting that same or similar raspberry note, but there is a floral aspect that's kind of, I'm not really sure what I really think about it. And again, you guys know, if you've been with my channel any length of time, I have concluded that Freesia, for whatever reason, doesn't hit my nose right in home fragrance. Funny enough, I actually kind of like it in personal fragrance. Freesia is a note that is in, what fragrance is it? It's the Mugler Alien perfume, which smells awful lot like my mother had a fragrance from Avon, believe it or not. It was called like Far Away. Those 2 fragrances smell very similar. So to me, I think it might be because it's like a sentimental fragrance for me that I like it in personal fragrance, but I don't love it in home fragrance. And I'm going to tell you, it's funny. When I lit this candle, I was like, I should like this candle more than I do. But there's something that I couldn't put my finger on that I was like, there's something that's preventing me from really loving it. And when I looked again into those deep dive fragrance notes, I was like, oh, there it is, the Freesia and the rose. Very similar to, this is kind of more, I guess, more of like a perfumey type of fragrance than it is necessarily gourmand. And I think that that's where I'm being thrown off, is that I thought that this was going to be a gourmand fragrance, but it's not. It's definitely more kind of, like I said, sweet, perfumey, floral. Kind of a little bit like the oh, what's the Kringle one that just came out for the Easter? The berry citrus bloom. Different fragrances, but similar type of vibe to me. They're like I said, perfumey, floral, not heady, not headache inducing, but they're just not my vibe. And so I think that that's where my disappointment is with this fragrance, is that I was expecting it to be a little bit more of a gourmand fragrance, especially looking at this beautiful label. You think you're going to get a gourmand, you think you're going to get this really candied sweet fragrance, and then you light it up and again, it's kind of perfumey and there's some floral elements. There is also a sandalwood note slightly in there. I think that the musk and the sandalwood is what's giving it a little bit more of that quote unquote perfuminess. I do typically like the way that HOMEWORX does do sandalwood. I think that Harry does sandalwood notes very, very well. But I think I like them more with like a coconut or like a beachy accord, more so than mixed with a floral or raspberry, like fruity type of thing. It's just, this one is not for me, you guys. Don't be surprised if you see this in my declutter at the end of the month. I'm grateful that they sent it to me, but the fragrance is just not for me. Let's go ahead and talk about the performance of this candle. So I'm going to go ahead and lift this up and show you. These are hot burning. This is another hot burner, similar to that whipped raspberry vanilla. This candle is burning pretty hot and fast. Now, what I will tell you is that this one is not really getting the excessive carbon balls at the end at this point in the candle. First burn it did. So I would say the first 2 burns on this candle, you're going to want to watch the wicks to make sure that the carbon residue isn't getting too excessive at the end. Although if you look in the wax pool there, you can see that these are self-trimming wicks. But even then, these wicks are burning pretty hot and fast. That being said, they're not, this candle is not getting super sooty, but I have been making sure that I have extinguished this candle as well as that whipped raspberry vanilla at no more than, I would say, 3.5 hours, because you might have been able to have just caught it there. You can see that like there's a little bit of soot coming up off of this one. And I honestly have only had this candle lit for an hour so far. So yeah, it's burning very hot, very fast. This is only, I think, the 4th burn that I've gotten in on this candle, and we're already a little bit beyond the halfway mark. So these 2 are burning pretty hot and fast. I'm not yet ready to do a dedicated review on the new blooming trellis candle, but I will tell you, the funny thing is that I thought all of these new candles were going to be hot burners. My Hyde, what is it, the Hyde Park Lilac, that one's burning pretty hot, but the blooming trellis one is not. So again, who knows what we're going to be getting with these HOMEWORX candles. Strength and throw on this candle has also been a little bit, I would say a little bit up and down. First burn on this candle, I'm going to say was about an 8 in terms of strength and throw. It was very, very strong, which I haven't always had that experience with HOMEWORX over the last year. It's usually been the reverse where it's taken a couple of burns to get going. I'm finding the opposite thing happening with this candle. First 2 burns on this candle were pretty strong, but then today when I have been burning it yesterday, or let me back up here. First 2 burns were pretty strong when I had it out in the open concept. I would give it about an 8 in the open concept. Yesterday, I had it burning in my bedroom. I was burning this candle with the new Kringle Grandma's Lemonade candle out in my living room. And let me tell you guys, I had to extinguish both of those after 2 hours because the combination of both was just, the Grandma's Lemonade is very similar to Bath & Body Works Limoncello, and it was very, very sweet. It was good. I liked it, but it was a very sweet lemonade fragrance. And for whatever reason, it was really clashing with this Candied Sorbet. I thought that they would have gone well together, thinking like, oh, the raspberry note. But again, it was that floral, that perfumey floral that I just was not enjoying that combo. So that combo lasted a whole whopping 2 hours in my house and I extinguished it. But again, in my bedroom, this fragrance was pretty strong. But today, out in the open concept, I would tell you guys the performance strength and throw on this one is about a 7. I would say it's not as strong out in the open concept. So again, this fragrance, I think for me personally, it's not for me. And so therefore, I'm not sure if I'm really giving it a quote unquote fair assessment. I mean, I know I am. That's part of my job here, right? Is to tell you guys what I think about it. So I am striving to give that to you guys, kind of a, I want to say a fair and unbiased opinion, but truthfully, I mean, reviewing candles or reviewing fragrance is a very subjective thing. And so there is going to be a little bit of bias. And the bias is that I don't really love Freesia fragrance notes. I don't like Freesia and rose mixed together with perfumey scents. And so therefore, I don't really love the fragrance that much. So I don't like it in my bedroom, but it's definitely noticeable and detectable in there. I'm very strong in the closed concept bedroom. Out in the open concept. Again, though, I did only have this burning for about an hour in the open concept. I think the longer that I burn it out there, it does get a little bit stronger. But I'm going to say average performance on this one is between a 7 and an 8 for me. Too strong for the closed concept. It's not going to blow you out of the water in an open concept, but it is going to be detectable. So overall, you guys, this one gets a thumbs down from me. Like I said, it should probably make its way into the declutter pile. I do have a discount code with Slatkin & Co. in case you are still interested in this candle. Maybe the description really appeals to you. Maybe those fragrance notes you like, kind of perfumey, floral type of fragrances. With a little bit of fruit in there, maybe this one is right up your alley. And if it is, my discount code with HOMEWORX is Katie's Joyful Life. It should save you 15% on orders over $40. Sometimes they're running great sales that the discount code doesn't apply to. It is an affiliate code that's eligible for a commission. Do always like to be honest about that. But yeah, this one to me, you guys, it's not a winner for me, unfortunately. I do appreciate them sending it to me, but this one I do see myself passing along to somebody else who might enjoy it. So let me know in the comment box down below if you purchased this candle already, what your experience has been with it. Were you expecting this to be a little bit more gourmand than what it is? I would be curious to know. Please hit thumbs up if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful. Helps me out with the old YouTube algorithm. I will continue to have more dedicated candle reviews for you guys this week. I am hoping to get a Kringle candle up tomorrow, and then I will have some Caramel Sundays preview stuff going up later this week, as well as my weekly or my bi-weekly candle chat. So you'll want to be subscribed to my channel if you don't want to miss any of that. I do want to say thank you so very, very much for spending your time here with me today. And until my next one, I hope you all go out and have a very blessed day. Bye.